Hi. Today I want to tell you about one of my projects, which was created in the context of Imagine Anthropocene, but also I want to show it here because it was created in the context of Iceland. Because this Imagine Anthropocene topic is actually extremely interesting for me because my main interest in art explore this existing relationship between nature and humans, and in my project I usually try to catch this imbalance between contemporary civilization and natural environment, and I'm fascinated by discovering this kind of moment in life of the experience, contact with the natures, when the contact with the natures starts to be an oppressive experience or experience which is difficult to accept by contemporary human or people. So I really try to catch this moment which the human can realize the powerlessness in the face of the power of the nature. So, or when this romantic concept of going back to the nature or strong connection with the nature is no longer exists, or it's just too big of commitment for us. So I very often use not really popular in this moment figure of antagonize the nature and culture in my work. And I said not popular because this antagonist of these two concepts have a history, and this history it's not really Anthropocene post-humanistic philosophy way, but more anthropocentric way, the old way. So what I'm trying to create is this critical form of anthropocentrism, but based on the same language. So that gives me the possibility to criticate it from the inside, a bit like a trickster. So I said I will focus on one of my previous projects, and this one, as I said, has a starting point on Iceland, and this is the project called Island. So the history of the project starts around 12 years ago when I actually first time came here on Iceland. I was hitchhiking and traveling around and I was extremely impressed by the place. And a few years later when I got the proposition to make a first solo show in Krakow, then I decided to go back here, do some art here, and come back with the new works. But it actually never happened. I came here, but for various reasons I couldn't do this work here. So I decided to work with my memories about the place. So the pretext for creating this project was actually the stories I heard from Icelanders, because I observed this following pattern that at the same time people here, when they talk, I felt that they have a very strong attachment to the nature, but in another way, I always got this impression of they are living in a state of constant oppression, the nature oppression. And also, Island is the kind of interesting topos in literature and movie, because in the one hand we have island like a paradise, but on the other hand we have island as an utopia, this kind of isolated, solitary place, which is almost provocative, something evil to happen. So this Imagine Valen in this story was for me this nature, and that feeling I had, it's because life here is, I think, subordinated to nature, and many things that happened here are everyday life somehow, but for me they reminded me this climate crisis sign somehow. So the works I create was after I returned from here, and they are somehow presenting forces of the nature in some ironic, humoristic way. So, for example, here we have a homemade eruption cycle of photography. And here is the, I think, good moment to say, because this gallery space where I had this exhibition is an old building, as many gallery or artist-run spaces in Krakow. It's in old apartment, actually. So we have it here. This. Oh, sorry, not this way. Yeah, this old, like white cube in an old, old living space. So. Yeah, so because at the same time when I prepared this exhibition, I didn't have a studio in Krakow at all. So I was actually working from home, and I liked this analogy, and I decided to use it in my work also. So I cleaned my room, put the white paper on the floor. I have roof windows, so I open it and just do this situation of homemade eruptions in my house using a smoke bomb and dry ice and praying nobody to call services for that. Yeah. So maybe I will get to another one. I will miss that for now, but I will give it back maybe for it. Yeah, I will tell a few more things about the work in shadow. This is the sculpture I made after I had the conversation with the car with the guy, because I was driving with him to East Fjords, and he told me that he's really happy because he's going for a holiday to Italy next week, and he is really happy because there is like a lot of sun there, and he's living in a place where there is no sun. And I couldn't understand how is it no sun, because it was the middle of the summer. What he mean no sun? Because here sun is like all day long there. Then so he explained me that that his place lies in a shadow in the mountains, and does not get sunlight for most of the year. And when I come back, I decided to find this place because I didn't know where is it exactly, but I couldn't. During the research, I realized that there is a lot of this kind of place in the whole world, and this thing is known as a apparent polar night. And this term describes places where, because of this geographic location, the sun does not rise over the mountain as a part of the year. So the places are constantly in the deep shadow. And the fact that I couldn't found this exact place, it was interesting because I could find another two places like that, Liechtenstein in Norway and Viganella in Italy, and both of the cities it's known because of this huge computer-controlled mirrors on the top of the mountain. To like put it there to reflect the sun, that way that main squares is in a sun, but the combination of this phenomenon is interesting even more because of this economical aspect of that, because I saw this documentary movie made by a Norway television by the author of the idea putting these mirrors on the top of the mountain, discovers that in past the location of houses in Rjukan was actually determined by the amount of capital. And residents of the city who has more money had houses built higher, so they could enjoy the sun either more days or more hours in a day or more days in a year. So, yeah, and it gives us this tricky question, how much does an extra week of the sun cost? And it's the tricky question because in the context of ecological crisis, the capital will be the thing what will decide actually for who will survive or who will live in more comfort for longer time, I think, in the future. Yeah. Next work is dust cloud is moving east. And this one is also made after I talk with one guy who was really complained that he need to clean the car so often because it was like I was on here just a few weeks after a Eyjafjallajökull eruption. So this is actually, this diorama is based on Vicky Medral place where he is living. So and it's diorama with this dust of basalt, and yeah, the title is Dust Cloud is Moving East because it was one of the lead in newspaper because the volcano paralyzed whole Europe. So yeah, I think maybe I will finish it. It also contains, the exhibition also contains the series of islands because for me it was kind of a funny way to draw all island of Iceland. I think because the time it will be all for me. Thanks. Yeah.
So did you draw it by hand?
Yeah.
Bravo.